පොදු විදිහට ආරම්භ කරමු. ඉතින් සාකච්ඡාවේ ආරම්භයක් විදිහට අපි ආරමෛත්‍රී භාවනාව අපි සියලුම දෙනා එකතු කරලා වඩමු කාලයක් අරගෙන සියලුම දෙනා භාවනාව සඳහා සූදානම් වෙන්න. පස්සේ ආරකම සියලුම දෙනාම ඉතින් මෙන්න ගන්න අනන්ත සත්‍යකට මේ මොහොත දක්වා මාගේ සිත කය වචනය යන තුන්දොරින් සම්මා සම්බුදු පියාණන් වහන්සේලාට පසේ බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේලාට අරිහත් උත්තමයන් වහන්සේලාට ආර්ය උත්තමයන් වහන්සේලාට සම්බුද්ධ ශාසනයට සියලු ලෝක සියලු සත්වයින්ට දැනුවත් හෝ නොදැනුවත්ව සිදු වූවා වූ අවඩක් අසාධාරණයක් වරදක් ප්‍රමාද දෝෂයක් ඉංගියක් හිංසාවක් කාරදරයක් බාධකයක් අපවාදයක් උපවාදයක් සිදු වී ඇතනම් ඒ සියල්ලටම මාහට කමා කරන සේක්වා කමා කරත්වා කමා කරත්වා කමා කරත්වා සියලු ලෝක සියලු සත්වයෝ සංසාර දුකෙන් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර බයෙන් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර ගින්නෙන් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර දායෙන් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර අඳුරෙන් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර රෝගයෙන් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර රාගයෙන් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර දැම්මෙන් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර කතරින් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර සයුරෙන් මිදෙත්වා නිබ්බාන පරම සුඛයෙන් සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා නිබ්බාන පරම සුඛයෙන් සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා පෙරතික වසන සත්වයෝත පෙර අනුදික වසන සත්වයෝත දකුණු තික වසන සත්වයෝත දකුණු අනුදික වසන සත්වයෝත පසුතික වසන සත්වයෝත පසු අනුදික වසන සත්වයෝත මුතුරුතික වසන සත්වයෝත මුතුරු අනුදික වසන සත්වයෝත මුතුතික වසන සත්වයෝත යටදික වසන සත්වයෝත නිමමත සියලු ලෝක සියලු සත්වයෝ සෝවාන් ඵලයෙන් නිදුක් වෙත්වා සකදාගාමී ඵලයෙන් නිරෝගී වෙත්වා අනාගාමී ඵලයෙන් සුවපත් වෙත්වා අරිහත් ඵලයෙන් දුක්ඛින් මිදෙත්වා නිවන් දකිත්වා අරිහත් ඵලයෙන් දුකින් මිදෙත්වා නිවන් දකිත්වා නිවන් දකිත්වා මමද සියලු ලෝක සියලු සත්වයෝ ජාතිකින්නෙන් මිදෙත්වා ජරාකින්නෙන් මිදෙත්වා මරණකින්නෙන් මිදෙත්වා ව්‍යාධිකින්නෙන් මිදෙත්වා සෝකකින්නෙන් මිදෙත්වා පරිදේවයෙන් මිදෙත්වා දුක්ඛකින්නෙන් මිදෙත්වා දෝමනස්සයෙන් මිදෙත්වා වෙත්වා උපායාසයෙන් මිදෙත්වා යම් පිච්ඡං අල්පති තම්පි දුක්ඛයෙන් මිදෙත්වා පංචෝපාදානස්කන්ධයෙන් මිදෙත්වා නිබ්බාන පරම සුඛයෙන් සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා නිබ්බාන පරම සුඛයෙන් සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා මමද සියලු ලෝක සියලු සත්වයෝ රාග බන්ධනයෙන් මිදෙත්වා ද්වේෂ බන්ධනයෙන් මිදෙත්වා මෝහ බන්ධනයෙන් මිදෙත්වා සියලු බන්ධනයෙන් මිදෙත්වා නිබ්බාන පරම සුඛයෙන් සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා නිබ්බාන පරම සුඛයෙන් සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා කාම ලෝක අනාතයි එයින් මිදෙත්වා රූප ලෝක අනාතයි එයින් මිදෙත්වා අරූප ලෝක අනාතයි එයින් මිදෙත්වා නිවනම නාතයි නිවනම වෙත්වා නිවනම නාතයි නිවනම වෙත්වා අතහැරීම නාතයි අතහැරීම වෙත්වා නොයල්ම නාතයි නොයල්ම වෙත්වා මිදීම නාතයි මිදීම වෙත්වා නිවනම නාතයි නිවනම වෙත්වා නිවනම නාතයි නිවනම වෙත්වා මමද සියලු ලෝක සියලු සත්වයෝ නිබ්බාන පරම සුඛයෙන් සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා නිබ්බාන පරම සුඛයෙන් සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා සාදු 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 හොඳයි. තෙරුවන් සරණයි. පින්වත් තුවචින දිනාටම ඒ වුණාද දවසේ අරිය නිස්සරණයේ මඟ සඳහන් සාකච්ඡාව සමගයි ඔබ සියලුම දෙනාම එකතු වෙලා ඉන්නේ. ඒ වුණාද දවසේ අපගේ දහම් සාකච්ඡාවට වැඩමවදාළ පින්වත් ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේව අපි සියලුම දෙනාම දෙපා නැමද උන්වහන්සේව පිළිගනිමු. උන්වහන්සේට ආරාධනා කර සිටිමු මෙතෙන් පටන් දහම් සාකච්ඡාව කරගෙන යන්න කියලා. තෙරුවන් සරණයි ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ.
තෙරුවන් සරණයි මහත්මයා. තෙරුවන් සරණයි පින්වත් සියලු දෙනාටම. ලලිත් මහත්මයා මේ අද ඉංග්‍රීසි ධර්මදේශනාවට වෙන් කරලා තියෙන දවස.
එහෙමයි ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ.
ඒකට වෙනම ගෲප් එකක් හදලා තියෙනවද? එහෙම නැත්නම් මේකමද කරන්නේ?
ඒ පිළිබඳව මේ ලසන්ත මහත්මයා මාත් එක්ක පොඩ්ඩක් කතා කරා. මේකම තමයි අපි හඳුන්වන්නේ.
මේ මොකද අදට මේක මේ විදිහටම සම්බන්ධ කරා. මොකද අරකට මම මෙසේජ් එකක් දැම්මා අපේ හඳුන්වන්නේ සිංහල ගෲප් එකට අද මේ සාකච්ඡාවක් තියෙනවා කියලා. මේ ඒ කට්ටියට දැන් බලාගෙන ඉඳී කියලා අපේ හඳුන්වන්නේ. එතකොට දැන් මේක පිළිබඳව දැනුවත් වෙනකොට අවශ්‍යය රැඳේවි. විලාස් මහත්තයාට ඉන්ෆෝම් කරා අපි හඳුන්වන්නේ මේ ඉන්නවා නම් මේකට සම්බන්ධ කරන්න කියලා. එතුමත් මෙසේජ් එකක් දාලා තියෙනවා ඉංග්‍රීසි දේශනාව සම්බන්ධ ගෲප් එකට ඉන්නවා නම් මේකට සම්බන්ධ වෙන්නයි කියලා අපි හඳුන්වන්නේ. ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. මේ යනකොට මේ ගෲප් එකේ අද දවසේ දේශනාව කරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන් අපි හඳුන්වන්නේ.
හොඳයි.
තෙරුවන් සරණයි.
හොඳයි පින්වත් සියලු දෙනාටම තෙරුවන් සරණයි. අද දවසේ අරිය නිස්සරණයේ මඟ උතුම් සදහම් කලන වැටුපිලි පවත්වාගෙන යන ඒ උතුම් වූ සදහම් අරිය දහම් සාකච්ඡාව පින්වත්නි අද ආරම්භ කරනවා. ඉතින් අද දවසේදී පින්වත්නි මේ සඳුදා බදාදා සිකුරාදා කියන දවස් තුනේ ඒ කල්යාණ මිත්‍රයන් පිරිස සාකච්ඡා කරලා තිරණය කරලා තියෙනවා. බදාදා දවස ඉංග්‍රීසි මාධ්‍යයෙන් සද්ධර්මයේ දේශනා කරන්න සාකච්ඡා කරන්න යොදා ගන්න. ඉතින් ඉංග්‍රීසි මාධ්‍යයෙන් දහම් ශ්‍රවණය කරන්නට දහම පරිශීලනය කරන්නට කැමැත්තක් තියෙන අය කැමැත්තක් දක්වනට අනුග්‍රහය පිණිස ඒ ආකාරයට ඒ ඉංග්‍රීසි සද්ධර්මයේ දේශනා කරනීම වෙනුවෙන් අපිත් එක්ක සහසම්බන්ධ තාතේදී ගතී ඉන්දියන් ජාතිකයේ විලාස් කඩිවාල් කියන මහත්තයා මූලික වෙලා ඒ වගේම කල්යාණ මිත්‍රයෝ මූලික වෙලා ඒ දහම් සාකච්ඡාවේ පළවෙනි ඉංග්‍රීසි දහම් සභාව විදියට අද ආරම්භ කරන්නට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒකට ඇත්තටම වෙනම ගෲප් එකක් වෙනම දහම් සභාවක් මම හිතන්නේ හදලා තියෙනවා. නමුත් අද දවසේදී යම්කිසි පෙර දැනුම් දීමක් නොකිරීමට කරගන්න බැරි වෙච්ච නිසා අද දවසේදී අපේ සුපුරුදු පරිදි නිස්සරණයේ මග සිංහල දහම් සභාව තුලම ඉංග්‍රීසි දහම් සාකච්ඡාව කරගෙන යනවා කියලා දැනුම් දෙලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒ ආකාරයට අද දවසේ සියලු දෙනාම අධිෂ්ඨාන කරගන්න පින්වතුනි. සද්ධර්මය ශ්‍රවණය කරනකොට තං සුනාත සාදු කම්මනසිකරෝත සුනාත ධාරේත චරාත ධම්මේ කියව විදියට සද්ධර්මයේ මනාකොට ශ්‍රවණය කරා වූ ධර්මයේ මනාකොට ධාරණය කරගෙන රාග දේශ මොහ විනය වෙන ආකාරයකට රාගක්කේ දේශක්කේ මොහක්කේ කියන මූලික අරමුණ ඉෂ්ට සිද්ධ වෙනතුරු ඒ දහම මනසිකාරය කළේ දහම තුල හැසිරිය යුතුයි පින්වතුනි. එතකොට තමයි ඒ උතුම් ධර්මාවබෝධය ලබාගෙන ඒ දහමෙන් උපරිම ඵල නෙලාගෙන ඒ සෝවාන් සකදාගාමී අනාගාමී අරිහත් කියන මඟවල පූර්ණේ කරගෙන මේ සංසාර දුකින් අත මිදෙන්න අවස්ථාව සලස ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා සැලකිලිමත් වෙන්න පින්වතුනි. මනාකොට සිහිය පිටවන්න මනාකොට වීරිය පිටවගෙන මේ සද්ධර්මයේ ශ්‍රවණය කරන්නට ඒ වගේම අදිෂ්ඨානයක් ඇති කර ගන්න පින්වතුනි. අනන්ත සංසාරේ පටන් අපි අතින් ලෝක සත්‍යයට බුදුපසේ බුදුමහරහතන් වහන්සේලාට වේවා ඒ වගේම බුද්ධ ශාසනයකට වේවා ඒ වගේම ලෝක කවරක උදට වේවා පින්වතුනි. අපි අතින් පාපයක් අකුසල කර්මයක් කර්මකතයක් නොවෙච්ච සිද්ධ නොවෙච්ච කෙනෙක් නෑ. ඉතින් මේ දේවල් නිසා අපේ නිවනට බාධා විදියට යම් කිසි කම්මාවරණ ධම්මාවරණ විපාකාවරණ ශක්තියක් අකුසල විපාක ශක්තිය තියෙනවා නම් ඒ දේවල් මේ මොහොතේදී ඉස්මතු නොවේවා ඇදී ඉස්මතු වෙච්ච තියෙනවා නම් පින්වතුනි ඇදී වෙච්ච තියෙනවා නම් ඒවා බැහැර වෙත්වා අදුරස් වෙත්වා මේ මොහොතේ අනන්ත සංසාරේ පටන් කරපු පුණ්‍ය කුසල කර්ම තුලින් ජනිත කළා පුණ්‍ය කුසල ආශිර්වාද ශක්තියෙන් ඒ රස කරගත්තා පුණ්‍ය කුසල ආශිර්වාද සුද්ධ කිරණ ශක්තිය මේ මොහොතේ ඉස්මතු වේවා ඒවා ඇදී ඇවිල්ලා අපට සමානතර වෙත්වා කියලා ධම්ම අවබෝධයේ උපකාරයක් ලෙස පිහිටාවා කියන අදිෂ්ඨානය ඇති කරගන්න. ඒ වගේම සද්ධර්මයේ ශ්‍රවණය කරද්දී පින්වත්නි අපි යුතුයකමක් වගකීමක් අතින් අනන්ත සංසාරේ නම් අපිත් එක්ක ආපු පිරිසක් පින්වත්නි අපේ ඉෂ්ඨකාන්ත දෙවිදේතා වෙලා ඒ වගේම බුද්ධ ශාසනය ආරක්ෂා කරන්නා වූ බාරකාර දෙවිදේතාවු දේව මණ්ඩලයක් ඇද්ද බ්‍රහ්ම මණ්ඩලයක් බ්‍රහ්ම පිරිසක් ඇද්ද ඒ සද්ධර්මයේ ශ්‍රවණය කරන්න පැහැදුනා වූ බුද්ධ ශාසනය ඇසුරු කරන්නා වූ දෙවිදේතා පිරිසක් ඇද්ද ඒ අය කුමන බව කුමන දැන කුමන අවස්ථාවක සිටියා මේ මොහොතේදී මේ උතුම් සද්ධර්ම සාකච්ඡාව සමග දහම් සභාව සමග සහසම්බන්ධ වෙත්වා පිට දී ගනිත්වා උතුම් සද්ධර්ම ශ්‍රවණය කරගෙන උතුම් සෝවාන් සකදාගාමී අනාගාමී අරිහත් කියන මඟඵල පූර්ණේ කරගැනීමට අවශ්‍ය පසුතලයේ සකස් කරගනිත්වා කියන අදිෂ්ඨානය ඇති කරගන්න. ඒ වගේම සීලම් දෙවියන් බ්‍රහ්මයන් දේව මණ්ඩලයන් ඇතුළු සියලු දෙනාම මේ උතුම් දහම් සභාවට ආශිර්වාද කරත්වා ලබා දෙත්වා කියලා අදිෂ්ඨානය ඇති කරගෙන සියලු දෙනාම මම දෙවියන්ට ආරාධනා කරන ප්‍රභු සියලු දෙනාට පින්වතුනි මනසින් දෙවියන්ට ආරාධනා කරන්න. समन्त चक्रवालेषु अत्रा गच्छन्तु देवता सद्धम्मं मुनिराजस्य सुनन्तु सक्कमोक्खदं ධම්මස්සවන කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා ධම්මස්සවන කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා ධම්මස්සවන කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා. උත්තම පුරිස වූ බුදු පියාණන් වහන්ස ඔබ වහන්සේට මම නමස්කාර කරමි. මාගේ නමස්කාරය වේවා. පරම පුරිස වූ බුදු පියාණන් වහන්ස ඔබ වහන්සේට මම නමස්කාර කරමි. මාගේ නමස්කාරය වේවා. කෙලෙස් සතුරන් පෙරද වූ බුදු පියාණන් වහන්ස ඔබ වහන්සේට මම නමස්කාර කරමි. මාගේ නමස්කාරය වේවා. සාදු සාදු සාදු. සැමටම උතුම් තෙරුවන් සරණම වේවා. සැමටම උතුම් තෙරුවනේ සමවත වේවා. සැමගිම බවගින්න අද දින නිවි නිවියාවා. සැමටම උතුම් නිවනේ සුවයම වේවා. නිවාස සියලු දෙනාටම දෙවියන් බ්‍රහ්මයන් සහිත වූ ධර්මයේ ශ්‍රවණය කරන්නා වූ සියලු දෙනාටම අද තිත දහම් ශ්‍රවණය කරලා උතුම් සෝවාන් සකදාගාමී අනාගාමී අරිහත් කියන මඟඵල පූර්ණේ කරගෙන උතුම් නිබ්බාන පරම සුඛයෙන් සුඛිතර වීම සඳහා ධෛර්ය ශක්තිය ආයු වන්න සබ්බර පරිවාන ප්‍රඥා කියන පංචවිධ කාරණා පූර්ණේ වෙත්වා ආශිර්වාද කරන්න. Vilas, hello.
Yes.
Okay, Vilas, you may start your session.
Thank you, Swamin Vahanse. Teruvan Saranaye to all. Let me start with the Vandana. And today I thought about covering some of the from the basic of the Buddha Dhamma, so that people who have joined new or who have some information can also gain. And over the every week I will be taking one aspect of it, and then we can cover each one aspect of the Buddha Dhamma. So let me start with the Vandana. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. As part of introduction, what I would like to also explain is on each one of these Vandana, like the why do we do this Vandana and how it helps in the meditation, and also how it helps a person to clear a lot of kleshas or the impurities what has been accumulated. So Vandana is actually has three letters, that is Va, Andha and Na. Na is Nyaya, so that is the theory, or that is the procedure. Andha is blindness, so almost all of us are in blindness of moha, that is what covers us, and then we can't see the raga and dvesha which gets created all the time. So Va is for vyaya, that is to remove. So when we say we are doing Vandana, it means to say within our hearts, in the Hadayavattu, we are trying to see whether when we offer the prayer to Buddha, the Bhaveya Buddha, that is one who can remove the Bhava, whether we are able to see the blindness being removed. So with that, let me start my session on what I wanted to discuss, and also I'll be covering some of the aspects of other Gatha today, so that we can see how scientifically the Buddha Dhamma helps us in reaching Nibbana. So these are the three topics what I had thought about, which I had shared it with Swamin Vahanse. What is Buddha Dhamma and other Dhamma? How similar or is it different? And what are the varieties in the Buddha Dhamma? Majorly there is this Theravada and Mahayana. And major time I will be spending on the purpose of human life and how precious it is. And I would request each one of you can interrupt me, can ask me questions, and we can make this into a discussion forum so that we can see how we can experience it. So let me start with Dhamma. The meaning of Dhamma in Pali or in Sanskrit, in Sanskrit it is Dharma. So we can put it as Dhareti Dhamma, that is one which can uphold is the Dhamma. So Dhamma becomes the teaching or the principle. Once somebody follows, can attain whatever he or she would like to achieve. As an example, if we take a school, there is a principle or the procedure or the practice which the student has to follow from the nursery or the first grade to the 10th grade to the 11th grade or 12th grade till the college or the university, or till he gets a job or he or she gets the job. So there is a principle and practice that needs to be followed, and there is a test at end of each session, or every 6 months or a year or every month, however the school has formed or the university has formed, and then the person takes up the exam, and then he is said to have passed the exam with distinction, or he's done a first class, or he has passed or he has failed. So this helps in understanding where the person is in terms of his knowledge on the school level and how is he implementing it as a practice in his life. Similarly, each Dhamma represents different religious identities which has got created. So if we were to look at various philosophies which existed before Buddha and during Buddha and after Buddha, we can conclusively have 6 philosophies, and then there is one philosophy of materialistic called as Ajivikas. So in the philosophy what was followed before Buddha, where Alara Kalama and the other teacher of Buddha used to follow, where either of one of the schools where jhana is the major teaching. Along with that, how to understand the world, the nature of things, and then what progresses, what does not progress, what exists, what does not exist. So they came up with 3 major branches. One is that there is a entity which continues from each state, like a human state into next human state to next human state, because those people who used to meditate used to go back to their previous birth, Pubbe Nivasa, where they were able to see their previous lives, and that is how they found out that they can see the soul or the Gandhava not changing form for a long period of time, and then they considered that that is what moves one life to another. And they also believed in the karma theory, and in that way doing good deeds gives good results, and doing bad deeds gives bad results. The second kind of the philosophy was that there is nothing that exists, so after this life we can be doing whatever we want to do, and then there is heaven and there is hell, and depending upon how a person has performed, and the person is given hell or heaven. And the third kind was a materialistic view of how we come or how we go is of no need to understand that, and then what exists is you just enjoy your life and go. So during the time of the Buddha, he tried to explain the concept to various people, because there were a lot of philosophies. There were around 62 philosophies in each one of this kind. So that's the reason it was more complicated then than now. And after Buddha, after the 1st century or the 5th century AD, then the BCE, is that people started believing in Abrahamic religion. So that is how the Islam and Christianity got the existences. And then the belief is that when you do deeds, and then if you are good deeds, you go to heaven, and if you are bad deeds, the person gets hell. So in that way, even Buddha Dhamma, if we really see, talks about the Noble Eightfold Path, wherein the person can get into different levels of existence, and then he or she can be happy in those levels. So the question comes for a non-Buddhist to understand about what is it in for Buddha Dhamma. Even this might be questions for some of the Buddhists also in the recent past, because of a lot of changes which have happened in the last 300-400 years. There have been a lot of mistranslation which has happened, and then that is one of the factor why there are a lot of differences in the way the Buddha Dhamma is followed across the globe. So since I have an opportunity to meet other Buddhists in other countries, and also in India there is all the Himalayan region follows a different kind of Buddha Dhamma, which is Mahayana. So the actual the Theravada, Thera is elder and Vada is the view. So the Theravada branch of Buddha is more found in Sri Lanka and Myanmar and Thailand and Laos. So I also had an opportunity to get in touch with the Myanmar or Burma, and there the most of the focus is on the Vipassana as a meditation, that is a formal meditation sessions. And in the Sri Lanka it is more about Desana, so which is good. So actually if we see historically, Ashoka had sent the missionaries across the places including Gandhara, which is in Afghanistan, and then to Sri Lanka and also to Myanmar and Laos and Thailand and all that places. So in that way the Theravada spread wide, and then it was taken over by Mahayana from the 5th century AD onwards, with the formation of Padmasambhava, who was in Nalanda University. So that is the reason the Buddha Dhamma actually went in two separate directions. One with a tinge of Hinduism and Buddhism branch, and then that is what is followed across the Himalayan regions, China and all those Mongolia and all those countries. Whereas the Theravada has remained in Sri Lanka and Myanmar and all that. So this is the the varieties what we find. But the question now is Buddha Dhamma similar to other Dhamma? So what is the difference and what is the similarity? In terms of similarity, the Buddha Dhamma talks about the moral values. Yes, so that is what we see at a surface level. So that is the Samuchi Satya, or the conventional truth, if we were to take that. Buddha Dhamma across talks about morality, moral values, which makes person good. And other religion also will do that, but they don't do it. There is not moral values for the mind or the chitta. Whereas in the Buddha Dhamma, the major of the teachings help a person to look at the problems he is going to face by not following moral values, and then how that affects him. So at a very lay person level or Pattujana level or Puttujana, is that the person following moral values at least can be promised a good rebirth into a heaven, or at least as a human or as a deva. Need not be a sotapanna, but he is following the moral values, so that is what it helps him. But at the surface level, all the philosophies across the world looks the same. So now what's the difference between Buddha Dhamma and other philosophies or religions? In the Buddha Dhamma, it is majorly to the mind. So if we could change our thoughts or the chitta, we can change the gati. That is the characteristics of the person, if we call by word gati. So that is not there in any other philosophies, and also it does not promise, that is other philosophies does not promise how a person can actually safeguard or protect himself from reaching the apayas. So to understand what is that it takes for us to really follow Buddha Dhamma, we can do an experiment in seeing how the universe is formed in terms of the human and animal existences, because that can be compared. Also between different kind of human beings, because they possess those characteristics as well. So what are these characteristics? So now in our life we can find different kinds of animals, different kind of species of birds and insects and all of these kind coming as an animal, but only those which have the nervous system are considered as the beings. So that is when we say sentient beings, or we call them as satta, it means those which have the nervous system created, and not those which like microbes and bacteria and all that, they don't have the nervous system developed. Even though they are living beings, they are even more lower than these kind of beings. Now if we were to compare in the human cycle, we find that people have 6 or 7 different kind of characteristics. Number one is that people are in general good, but depending upon the situation they will react in a way which might cause injury to themselves and injury to others. The second kind is the people who are not good, but they will protect those who are good to them. So this is another kind of people. So they have dvesha and moha, which is more than the raga. The third kind of people we can find is that they are selfish, and they would like everything to their advantage, and they don't mind abusing or using a bad word, or out of anger they might even hit a person or whatever, because they feel threatened or they feel insecure. So these people will have high amount of greed, which is lobha, and lobha followed by dvesha and moha together, and that causes them to sometime act like an animal. The fourth kind of people who are very kind-hearted, and then they would like to help anyone at the cost of their own lives, and they will give anything to the person. So they give it a dana to people, and also they help them in the overall development of that person. They can sometimes be selfish based upon the raga dvesha or the raga, and they sometimes might not be selfish at all, but the selfishness is in terms of whom they are trying to support. The next category of people we can find is those who are not only kind-hearted, but they are very compassionate to people, and they also would like to support any kind of people, no matter whether they harm them or not. So these kind of people would not really worry about the money or the power or the position, unlike the first category of people. But then they don't worry, and they always are giving. And normally these kind of people, when people meet them, they call them as this person seems to be having very god like attitude. So some people call them as you are really God sent to me. So these are the words what we normally hear. And the next kind of people are not only kind and courteous and compassionate, and they also celebrate the achievement of people, and they promote people and say that how they have done and all that, and they become a coach to the people, and they are teachers, but they don't take any kind of credit for themselves. So these are the people are like devas in the human realm, and they help to any extent for other people to grow. So these are the different kind of category of people whom we can see in our daily life. So if we see how these changes have happened and why these many different categories, it is easy to see that it has not happened in one life, it has happened over a period of life. So if a person were to get a taste of Buddha Dhamma, he will first understand that there are many lives which a person leads to. And if you literally see the Asia, that is India and Sri Lanka, Nepal and all these countries, since they follow Hinduism mostly and also majorly Buddhism in Sri Lanka and in all the Theravada countries and also in the Himalayan region, people generally know that there is a rebirth happening, because that we've been doing something or the other which will ask us to come back again and again to complete it. But when we see from a Westerner perspective, they don't have a rebirth as an information, or they don't even know that rebirth exists. They always feel that there's only one life, and this is the life they can do whatever they want and however they want. So they can be of any of the kind, any of the 6 kind what I mentioned, and they wouldn't know, out of their moha or blindness, they wouldn't know that all of these qualities have been developed over a period of time, not in this life but in previous lives also. So when we look at the concept of the Buddha Dhamma, 2 things will come into light. Is that we can see different animals and birds and species which have similar characteristics of some of the humans when they show up, and then we can compare them and see that how it has happened. So that gives us the second system, that there is something or some bhava or the becoming which happens, the existence, the jati which happens, and those species will get those kind of characteristics or the gati based upon what they have been doing. So what Buddha Dhamma then teaches us is to find out how this happens, and also why this happens, and what we can do to stop further becoming or further existences. So this is only possible in the Buddha Dhamma in terms of step-by-step process, wherein the person can see for himself or herself that if there are some good things which are happening, then that is the karma has a vipaka, that is the fruits of action, and that is helping the person to grow and getting all that what he or she wanted, even though there is an effort from the person. So the effort from the person is in terms of chitta, and the bala or the energy what the person is trying to put on that changes the way he or she thinks, and that will enable the person to change the direction, and the direction changes it in terms of that then the person's gati, or the loosely said as a destiny, or the characteristics also change. So if the chitta changes the gati, then the person can really change his views of that is the michya ditti can be brought about in a samma ditti, and also the akusala karma can be reduced and then replaced by the kusala karma. So these aspects can be experimented in the Buddha Shasana or the Buddha Dhamma, whereas in other philosophies it is mostly to do with the Shraddha, wherein there is a faith and then you follow the faith, and then after death you will reach the heaven, provided those things have worked out in the favor. But there is nothing to say that while you are living you can experience the same ability to see whether it is working or not. So that is a major difference between other philosophies and the Buddha philosophy, because you can test it and you can find out how the mind is working, the mind consisting of the chitta, how thoughts are coming, and how the person can change his or her thoughts to make it better in his or her life, and that helps him to get into the sila, that is the morality, and then samadhi, that is the concentration, and panya, that is the wisdom. So he or she can really see why certain things are happening to him or her, why certain things are not happening to him or her, and what needs to be done in order to get rid of the sansara, which is filled up with suffering. So another English word, better word to use is the pain. So that means first we have to take a pain to get the pleasure. So the asvada or the mind-made pleasures is the one what we are behind, and that can be only found by really following the Buddha Dhamma. So in that way, the similarities are only on the moral values if we see from other philosophies as a religion point of view. Whereas if we go in detail, there is a huge difference between the Buddha Dhamma and the other philosophies. So the Buddha talks about bhaveya uddha, that is to remove the further existences, which is not possible in any other philosophies. So I'm just opening it for discussion. If somebody would like to discuss on this aspect, I would welcome. Lasanta, do you want to add something to this?
Yeah, Vilas, you have been doing a very good explanation about different religions around the world. So, yes, actually, in the group members here, we all are understood about these things basically. And I have a small question about what do you mean by Dharma? So, if you take an etymology of the word Dharma, so if I say something about Dharma means something about the nature of bearing up on this existence. So that is what I have. That is those words I can use for Dharma. That's means Dharana. In Sinhalese we say Dharana Sabhava. So could you please explain something for what do you feel? What do you mean by Dharma?
Yeah, you are right. Actually, the meaning or the etymology in terms of Pali, Sanskrit on Dhamma and Dharma is that it is Dhara iti Dhamma. Dhara iti, that is whatever you hold. So, Dharana is what you are also saying. So, whatever is held as an existence is what is Dhamma or the Dharma is about. So when we look at the Dharma, then that is why the reason there is a lot of, in Hindu it is called Hindu Dharma, and a Muslim also can have their own Dharma. So each follows their own doctrine. So the English word, nearest English word for Dharma is doctrine. So what it does is that the Dharma means the teaching plus the scientific analysis of how a person can reach a particular goal. So each philosophies teach about what it is. So that is what is a nature, how the nature can be felt, what happens when you feel the nature, and what you should do to feel the nature. So these are the four broad categories what is there in every dharma or dhamma. So if we look at the Buddha Shasana or the Buddha Dhamma, the Buddha talks about bhava as the major one, and he also talks about how tanha can be removed, and also he talks about paticca samutpada, which is the basic training or the teaching of the Buddha. So looking from the anicca dukkha anatta to the paticca samutpada is what the Buddha Dhamma is all about. In a highest level, if we could put it, instead of going to the detailed level. So, and that is the doctrine or that is the philosophy or the principle of each one of these aspects. So the reason why this dharma was used earlier in the what I can say in the olden India, or rather the before or during the life of Buddha, is to say which principle or which philosophy they are following. So basically every philosophy promised these four aspects about the nature of things and then how you can feel it. So that is the reason it is called dharayati dharma. So that is dharana. So you hold and you exist with that and try to see how it works.
Bhikkhu, I have a question. This is Oshan, by the way. I'm based out of Sydney. So, Bhikkhu, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
So, Bhikkhu, you talked about all these hard dhammas, right? But I have a question about why I should follow this dhamma. For example, say that I have a good job, right?
Right.
And I have a comfortable life,
Correct.
right? I am happy.
Correct.
Basically, I have all of those things. I have good friends. My life is so full with all these pleasures around me, right?
Right.
Why would I give up all of this to talk about dhammas and other religions and places? Why would I give that up about bhava, the dharana, subhava, and all these things? What is persuading me to do all of these things?
Yeah, very nice question. So let me answer you in this way. Yes, we are, in fact, including myself, if we were to take all of us, mostly we spend our time in doing whatever you have said because that gives us instant pleasure. And that is what we feel is what we are supposed to be doing in our lives. That is very, very correct. But to do that, we have to take sufficient pain, and when we take the pain, there is no guarantee that we can get it. So sometimes we get disappointed and we have no idea why these certain things have not working in the way, even though we have done everything. That is, let us say if I were to get a job, and let us say I'm working in a company and it is doing well, let us say I am the head of the organization also, but I cannot do anything about the market, whether the product is doing well or is not doing well, which is beyond my my preview or my accountability. But however, the company believes that I should do something about it. So this is the problem what we generally face, and we call it as a challenging situation. So we come up with a strategy to ensure that we don't get into that. So we do a risk assessment and we do a lot of different things to get out of it. So to take all of that is a pain. So since we are not aware why are we taking this pain, the pleasure is that when the strategy works, I feel happy for that second. But then after that, something else changes and then my strategy is no longer working. So then again I have to correct the strategy and do it. So whether it is in terms of job, in terms of studies, in terms of house, in terms of the children or wife or husband or whatever relationship we are setting, it is always set with an intent that it will work. But there is no guarantee that it is going to work, because there is always this viparinama dukkha, or the changes can happen instantly and things can fail. So
right, but what would you say to a person who would say that's a very pessimistic way of looking at life? We can't walk around thinking that life is going to be negative all the time.
Yes,
we have to look at the positives. We have to look at the shorter term goals. We have to appreciate the smaller things in life and be satisfied with it and go with that instead of troubling ourselves with the bigger picture. And why not enjoy the simpler things in life and
yes,
think about all these and trouble ourselves into depression?
Yes, absolutely right. I mean, I really have come across people who would consider Buddha Dhamma as the most pessimistic. Actually, it is more realistic than being pessimistic. So, to the person who are pessimist and think that why we should also think in this way, my question or my answer would have been to people is that look at your own heart. Is it really bringing discomfort when things doesn't happen? Not that you should not work, like even now I might be working on some projects, but what the difference I'm making for myself is that I'm not expecting. So when there is an expectation, there is this problem of either getting it or not getting it, or something comes in its way and takes it away. So for a pessimistic person, what I would recommend that person is that you set your expectation low, don't set it high, because there is always this changes which happens, and the changes can happen without notice, whether the person is a believer in Buddha Dhamma or not believer in Buddha Dhamma. That doesn't really matter. What matters...
Sorry to interrupt, Bhikkhu. Just a light bulb just went off when you were talking. So basically what you're saying is, because the suffering that comes my way is dependent on the expectations that I build. So the bigger the expectations I build, more discomfort or displeasure
Correct.
I feel. So
Correct.
less expectations I build within my mind, less discomfort and displeasure I feel. So you're saying there is a place where we can reduce this discomfort and displeasure to a level beyond what I'm comprehending or a normal person would comprehend, walking around enjoying some other things in life.
Yes, so he or she can still enjoy all the things in life. That is, he or she can go to a club and have a couple of drinks and go with friends and do all the work, whatever he or she is doing, but without expecting. So let us say this person is waiting for a friend to arrive in a tube from Sydney to, let us say, Perth. And then the person doesn't come because of something, and then whether it's pessimistic or optimistic, it doesn't really matter. At that time, this person is going to feel uneasy and unhappy, disappointed. Maybe he might give a call to that person or the friend saying that why you couldn't turn up, not knowing that what really caused him not coming from place A to place B. Whereas if the person is setting a lesser expectation in terms of understanding that the person might come, might not come, and there are various factors in this person coming and meeting, in that way, he or she can reduce the discomfort when that thing doesn't happen. So I would be not disappointed if the person is not coming, whereas I will not be jumping in joy if I see the person, because those two are dependent on something else. It's not dependent on whether I wish that they come or they don't come.
I see. So expectations are built because of we give value to things, I guess. Because I'm giving value to meeting that person. I'm building hypothetical values in my mind, expecting big things. Because of value, expectations grow and attachments grow, and we create discomfort and pain within our minds.
Correct. Very
Is that
right.
what you're saying?
Yes, very right. So we can experiment that and see. So let us say when I'm on the job, I've done very well, and I expect my manager to rate me the best, and then the market has turned badly this quarter. So my manager now says that, you know what, you're done well, but the company has not done well. So we couldn't raise your wages, and also we cannot promote you at this point in time. So now what has happened to me? I now feel cheated by the company. So I have only 3 options left to me: accept the way it is. So I will then plead with my manager that, how many hours I have spent. I have also spoilt my Saturdays and Sundays, and the number of days I have not been with my family. And number 2 is that I might start applying elsewhere, thinking that another job is going to get me what I wanted. And number 3 is that, I will become very negative about the company. So these are the 3 alternatives what I have. But if I were to really see why am I expecting out of what I'm expecting out of it, I'm expecting happiness. So I'm expecting happiness in something, in an external thing that is always changing. So that means I'm not going to get any happiness at all, because the manager might change, the company might close down, or the market might go down, or whatever, anything can happen. So in everything we do in our daily life, we can see these changes happening and we can observe. So the first and foremost thing what Buddha Dhamma teaches us to observe rather than reacting is to observe. So once we start observing, we can find that there is nothing anybody can do to change it, because let us say today it is very hot in a particular place, and we can create different objects to take care of that. We can have a fan or an air conditioner, or I can go to a resort, or can go into the swimming pool, or whatever it is, but that's not going to change the weather pattern which has been there for today. So I can only find alternatives and make myself comfortable. So that means I'm suffering somewhere to make myself comfortable. So if there was no suffering, then I didn't have to make anything called as comfortable. So this applies in everything we do. So it need not be a pessimistic person or an optimistic person, a believer in Buddha Dhamma or not. The law of nature remains the same. So when we start looking at or scratching the surface of the Buddha Dhamma, we can find out that these can be experimented, tried it out, and seen whether it works or not.
Right. So is it correct to say that things happen in the world regardless of whether we like it or not, and we tend to give value to these things that happen around us, and we create expectations and we get attached to it. Because of that, we create suffering. So because of not knowing that the world is not to our liking, things will happen regardless of what we think of it.
Yes.
That would give us peace. Is that what you're trying? Is that correct, Bhante?
Yes. You're 100% right. So we set expectation because sometimes it works in our favor, and we think that we are the people who have made that to happen. And sometimes it doesn't go in our favor, so we always complain that somebody else has come in its way and then blocked it. But actually, whether I like it or not, things work in a particular pattern or ways. As long as the conditions or the causes are there, the effect are going to be there. So Buddha Dhamma also teaches us to look at how each event works. So it is preconditioned. It need not be predetermined. So what happens is that if a particular situation comes in and the right conditions are there, then that kind of fruit is going to be there whether I like it or not. So that is right. What you said is right. So that makes us not to get attached to the conditions, because when the condition changes, the effect also changes, or the result also changes.
Hello? Can I add something there?
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Yeah, because the people around, they believe that when they do a good job, actually they have a stable life, stable jobs, and they lead a healthy life. So, but how can they guarantee that how long they can do that? So the people, they would like to talk about the patients. For example, when we talk about the cancer patient, so how can we guarantee that whether I don't have a cancer, you don't have a cancer, so that cannot nobody can guarantee that I don't have a cancer, and so this stability can be seen because of the ignorance and delusion. So actually, they are the conditions is there all the time, and through that we can see the anicca all the time. So that is what I want to add here.
Sure. Yeah, see, nobody can guarantee anything. In fact, in life, our breathing itself cannot be guaranteed, whether we're going to breathe the next moment. So nobody can guarantee anything. The assumption what we are making is that there is always nicha, that is na ichha. Ichha is our wish. Na is the nyaya, that is a theory that always everything will go as per our wish. So we have to change the conditions to match the wish of the whatever we have. So if we see in our daily life, as an example, if I were to give, let us take the mobile network. So the new invention what we have made for the last 20 years is we are now having the mobile phone and the towers, and there are companies who are giving the mobile mobile connectivity, but nobody can really promise that it works. So what we have done is that we have put our backup. That is, something fails, we have another one as a backup, and that fails and something else as a backup. So what we are doing is that we are trying to ensure people and machines are always available to correct if something doesn't work. So if things were working as per our liking, then we didn't have to invest so much of money and time and energy to do all of this. And that is what gives us a feeling of nature. Because now so many people are working and they are helping us together to get whatever we want or whatever I wish. So if the mobile is not working, what I'm supposed to do is give a call to the mobile company and then call up that lady or the gentleman over there who is in the call center and blast him or abuse him or whatever it is, and then say that your company is a fraud company and they're not giving proper service, and he will then blast his technicians and then they make it working. So what I just now did is to change the condition. So when the condition changed, the network came back. So I'm now having a 4G connection and I'm able to connect on the internet and it's working. So I feel everything works because I want it to work. But actually what has happened is that those people who really work to get that condition in some place, otherwise this wouldn't have happened. So we all have, or most of the people, or rather 99% of the people have this Nissaranaye, which says that ultimately we will make it work. And that is what makes us to go behind the pleasures and ensure that we get what we wanted to get. Yeah, Lasanta.
Yeah, Vilas. So carry on that. Actually, that the question came from the person, the Kalyana Mitra from Australia. It's a nice question.
Very nice question.
Yeah. So you can carry on, and I think whether the other Kalyana Mitra they have question or they want to give some idea, it is the time.
Any questions from anyone? Okay, if you don't have, so I'll just continue on the third aspect. Why are we humans? That's a topic. So what makes it different between a human being and others? So if we see, we are leading a life which is far better than animals. I think everybody would agree. Animals also have intelligence and they really do their life in the way they want to do, but they cannot analyze the situations, and humans can do it. The Pali best word to be used is manussa, that is mana ussa, that is the person whose mind is developed. So mana ussa is a person who has a stable mind. If we see animals, especially dogs are a better way to observe, their minds are totally agitated. So when a dog A sees dog B, the next thing it does is to bark. So that is already tuned in its mind that if it sees another dog, it has to bark. It has a fear that its own territory will be lost. So it barks saying that this is my territory, and the other dog also says that no, I didn't come here for your territory, I have my own territory. Then it has its own food cycle. So it keeps on looking for food and enjoying the food. And then it has copulation time, and that is what it would like to do all the time. And the fourth one is to sleep at a time when everybody is sleeping or awake or whatever, depending upon its own fear cycle. So majorly, if we see animals, the the majority of the activity is fear. So due to the fear, they have to have their own territories, guard the territories, and the life goes on in fear. Either it will be eaten away by something, or it has to eat something else to lead its life. So that means there is always a fear of death every moment, be it a cat or a dog or a let us say cow or a rat or a whatever we see, including birds or amphibians to fishes to all of that, they are targeted all the time. So their mind is fully agitated and there is no way they can see what is happening, because their only way is to safeguard their own lives. So that their mana is not developed, or the mind or the chitta consists of continuous thoughts of fear. Whereas if we look at the humans don't have to be afraid. In fact, animals are afraid of humans. If we see the world, we have taken over everything, whatever was belonging to somebody. So that clearly shows that human beings can really do wonderful jobs in terms of innovating the way to live. So that means human beings have the ability to create. So that means they have the ability to think like a Brahma. So if there were a realm of Brahma who is supposed to be creator, who will relish in the creation, we can see that the human beings are able to create. If we also see, human beings are not only able to create, they are able to create it faster, and they can also innovate, and they can also achieve the end result in anything they do, be it Buddha, Dhamma or otherwise. The human beings have the ability to think. They have the ability to change their thought process. They also have the ability to change the situations. They have the ability to withstand the pressure. They have the ability to find out different ways to solve the problem, which are also there in some of the animals like elephants, and we have in shark, we also have in whales, but not to the level of what a human can do. So if we see the innovations what human beings have done in the last so many centuries, or in fact before Buddha to even before the Gautama Buddha, the earlier Buddha or whatever, how many life cycles we have had, the Manusa always has an ability to think better and also reason out or comprehend, and then look at life in a different way. So it can be used for the rupa or the material objects, or arupa, wherein the person don't have to look at the rupa, but he can or she can look at getting inside and seeing what is happening within oneself. So that means the human beings are better placed in both the matter and non-matter aspect. And what has happened is that since we have this force or the bala or the energy, we spend most of the time in feeding our senses. And that is where we have a problem, because the animals also feed on the senses. Human beings also feed on the senses, because we don't know that we are in Kamaloka, and that is the reason the senses take over most of the time, and then we are only feeding the senses. So what remains with us all the time is the memory of the past. So with the memory we plan for the future, and we can never be in the present, because in the present moment there is no memory. It is the reality what is happening. So the question then comes that how do we be in the present moment is by looking at the event what is happening. And since we cannot see an event because our mind is agitated, we tend to behave like animal. So to understand what it takes to be a human, we need to also look at the different existences which are available, and that can be seen even in the human realm of existence, as I spoke to you earlier. But from the Buddha's point of view, there are 31 planes of existences, and the first one is the Niraya. Niraya is literally, if we were to translate that, helpless. So those beings who are there, their mind is in such a helpless state that even for a second they cannot get themselves saved in any way. So there are different kind of hells which have been explained, but basically what it means is that a person whose ability has gone so bad while in human realm of existence or a deva realm of existence or some realm of existence, when he was having a very good life, he or she used it for such a bad deeds that they have to then take their mind into such a horrifying state. So the second level is the Tirchana Yoni, that is where the Raga, Dvesha, Moha, the Lobha, Dvesha and Moha are equally developed. And then this is where the animal always have. So they have the Raga, Dvesha, Moha, and the Moha covers the most of their part. So they are totally blind on what is happening to them, and that is the reason that their minds are also equally agitated, but not to a level of people or the minds who are there in the Niraya. Then there is Preta, which is nothing but a hungry ghost, which means that they have one of these three as the highest, that is the Lobha. So while they were in human or other higher realms of existence, they had this karma where they did not give anything to anyone and also wanted others also to come to them. So other property or other people or whatever they have, somebody has, also should come to them. So they always had this in their mind that if they don't get it, then nobody else should get. So that being the level of Lobha, and that is the amount of the Dvesha what they had generated because of not getting what they wanted, the mind is burnt to an extent of staying as a Preta, because then they have to keep on feeding on themselves to get whatever they want, and they cannot get anything at all. And the fourth one is the Asura realm of existence, which is nothing but demons or the titans. So when we look at people who are here in the human realm of existence, who are very aggressive and they don't care, and they might hit, they might kill, they might do 100 different things to not physically harm, but they would like to harm the person's character. And they also would love to see that the person is destroyed. So those kind of people who have this malicious or a bad intent would land themselves in the Asura, because that mind is perfectly suited for this kind of existence. Then the Manusya Loka, that is what I explained. Then the sixth level is Chatu Maharajaka Deva. These are the four devas who are there just above the Manusya Loka, who are kind-hearted, and that means they don't have, that is after the Manusya Loka onwards till the end of the Kama Loka or even to the other lokas, there is a reduction of the Dvesha, and Lobha gets lesser into Raga, and after the Kama Loka there is no Raga also. So what happens here is that there is continuously it is reduced and reduced. So each one of these loka, like in the Tavatimsa, Yama, Tusita, and all of that, if we were to see, because I am skipping some of these because this itself will take one full session, which I can have it in the next time, next Wednesday when we meet, in terms of each one of this level and how we can see it within ourselves. But one thing I want to add before I skip this sections for a little bit is that when we look at metta bhavana, that is when we have when we say let good things happen to all, if we see what stands in our heart is that the heart becomes immediately very calm. So you would feel, or the person would feel, that there is an expansion. So when we want to say let bad thing happens to others, we are trying to say to that when we say that, we see that within our hearts it starts burning. But when we say that let good thing happen to others, we can see that there is an expansion. So what we can really experiment in each one of us is to see the Brahma Vihara. So there are 4 aspects of the Brahma Vihara. One is the Metta Bhavana, and the second one is the Karuna, and the third one is the Mudita, and the fourth one is Upekha. So how do I experiment it and see? So in the morning or whenever I am sitting, let us say now I say to every being, whoever has helped me in my life, that is my parents, to the teachers, to the friends, to all those people whom I have known directly or indirectly, whether they have done good or bad, I have no idea, but they all have involved with me, which is the most happiest thing to happen, because there are people who don't get anyone at all in their lives. In considering that, I have got so many people who have stood by me and they have helped me, including the parents. If we see, and if we were to say, let them be happy and let them be free from suffering, let them not have any bad things happening to them, and if we say it within our hearts, and we can see that immediately the heart gets expanded, we feel internally very happy. Sometimes it would even happen that the person might start to cry loudly, because then he cannot hold the emotions. And when that happens, there is always a karuna which takes over, wherein the person becomes very compassionate even to those people who have done some harm in the past, and then he will try to forgive them for that and say that let the person not do this again to anyone, even if he has done with intent, let that intent go away. Let the person get a very noble intent. So when we say that within our hearts again, it creates love and affection with all kind of beings. So we can try it out with humans, and also we can try it out to animals, because that we can really see how they respond. With these two being there, the third one is Upekha, the third one is Mudita, where I can then see if I am rejoicing in somebody's goodness, that is, if a person is growing in the Buddha Dhamma or in any Dhamma, and he is becoming pious or a good-natured person, that is one aspect. And then second aspect is the person is getting lot of materially sound. He or she is getting whatever he or she wanted, and they're getting good money or power or position, and they are doing very well in their lives, and then their children are doing well. They are able to build good homes, stay good life, and enjoy. So instead of feeling instead of feeling jealous of people, if I were to feel very happy about their achievement, if I were to feel jealous, I can see that my heart will burn, that why I am not getting it. So whatever I am having, I am now suffering first. That is, the pain will first come to me before anything could happen to them. But when I do mudita, that is when I feel very much filled up from my heart and I rejoice in somebody's achievement, it expands. So I feel, or the person would feel, that he or she has touched the sky. So with Maitri or Metta, Karuna and Mudita, the person can expand himself or herself into different dimensions, and that makes him feel one with nature. And once he becomes one with nature, that is the time when he gets into Upekha. Upekha is a stage where the person becomes equanimous to the situations. That is, he or she will not react in any way. So these four aspects, that is Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekha, is like staying in Brahma realm of existence, because if somebody were to not do jhana, but still he can get into the second level of jhana, wherein he can get into the Brahma Loka within himself, and he can see that it works, because when the heart is expanded and he doesn't have any negative thoughts, they are suppressed, so the chitta is now pure. When the chitta is pure, he or she doesn't have any kind of negativity or a bad attitude or a bad manners or any kind of bad deeds at all. So then if he could see that his mind has become very still or very calm, so this calm nature is what the Brahma Vihara is all about. So we can really test on ourselves these different realms of existence from the 6th to 14th till the Mahabrahma realm. We can actually test it, and if somebody were to get into jhana, then he or she can really test within himself or herself the 15th, 16th, 17th aspect of realms of existence. So within one's life, or right now, a person can experiment without knowing any jhana at all. So one is the Anariya jhana or the mundane jhana, another one is Ariya jhana. Ariya jhana is with Ariya Attangika Magga understanding, whereas Anariya jhana is just the concentration and the willpower and then the meditation, which will take both of them to the same level. So in the next session, whenever all are there, I will cover up on those aspects of how a person can move from one jhana to another jhana, and also experience what will happen in each one of these the Anariya or the Ariya jhana. But right now what a person can do is not to worry about the jhana, but he can still reach calmness in his mind. That is, he can feel the cooling down effect. It's like a nibbana, but not really nibbana, but he can see what nibbana would mean, because when he is given up the thought about harming anyone, because he knows that he is going to first harm himself before harming anyone, then the person becomes very calm. So why Manusya Loka is because all of these can be experienced. So what happens is, in the first 4 realms of existence, there is no way anybody can experiment on anything because it is full of fear. In the 5th, that is the Manusya Loka, there is akusala and kusala both being there. That means we have a very good ability, also bad ability to get into bad deeds and good deeds. So depending upon the karma and the karma vipaka, what we have made in the past lives, we might be enjoying, also we might be suffering. But there is a way to retrospect or to look within ourselves, or to see why we are suffering and why we are enjoying. So when a person is, let us say, if we were to see some people who are very rich, but they don't get time to do any retrospection or introspection to see why they have got so much, then we can see that they had a very nice the punya karma or the good deeds, and they are exhausting it. There are people whom we can see that they are born humans, but they have to tirelessly work and still not get anything, and they struggle to make their ends meet, or they struggle to get their food or the clothing or shelter or medicine, or they suffer from different diseases. If we were to see them, then again we can see that the suffering has been there because of their karma and the karma vipaka. So they also don't get any way to experiment this, because every moment they have to do something to live. So there are people, rich people, whom we see don't get any chance to get into Dhamma because they are exhausting all their punya karma. And there are people due to papa karma, they have no ability to see why things are not working in their favor. But if we were to get to an opportunity like having both the good and the bad, but also have ability to be in the to understand why things are happening, and then if the person is able to have an ability to understand Buddha Dhamma or get into Buddha Dhamma in the first place, whether it is right or wrong, then get to the pure Dhamma aspect of Anicca Dukkha Anatta. So we can now see how fortunate the person is, because he or she is able to cut the root he or she is able to work from the root cause of the problem, instead of just trying to address some or here and there whatever the challenges or the problem he or she is facing. So in that way, our life as human is very precious, and wasting it does not make any sense, because once our life is wasted, that means we die without doing anything about understanding the bhava or existence and what caused us to first come into this life, and what we have done and how we have done and what are the bad qualities or the good qualities we have taken. Then there is no guarantee in any way to say that whether our existence will be a good existence in future or not, because unless we safeguard ourselves, there is no way we cannot escape the apayas. The apaya is this niraya to asura realm of existence, because we have come from there. We might have really been there sometime because of our bad karma, and because of a good karma we are here. So it is not good for any one of us to miss this and lose our life and exhaust all our punya karma and go back to the earlier home, where either in the niraya or to the asura realm of existence. So it is very, very precious. Every moment becomes precious for us to understand the truth, that is how the paramartha satya is, and then what causes us to get into bhava, jati, and why we suffer the jara, marana, soka, parideva, dukkha, domanasa, upayasa. That is most important to see, because then we know that why we are suffering, and that helps us to look at the first noble truth, that is there is always a pain to be undertaken to get anything in this world. And then we come to know why we are taking this pain to get what we want to get, and then we will come to know how to exit or how to remove the pain, and what the path we have to take to remove the pain. So this is a very nice way of actually experiencing what really happens with every being. So in that way, as humans, we can then see that there is nothing to aspire or nothing to say somebody is doing well, somebody is doing not well, because we will understand the reality or the truth that every one of us are suffering or having pain in one way or the other. It can be in a way that something is not working and they are suffering in one way, and there are people who might be getting something, but still they are suffering because they have to do all of that to actually protect themselves. So this is what I wanted to share. And then if you have any question, I can answer. Otherwise, I can end the session. It is almost 8 o'clock. So any questions? Okay, so if there are no questions, I would like to thank everyone and who have attended, and also to all the people who have assembled here and who are listening to this Desana. Let them all be free from suffering, and let them all attain peace. Let them all work towards the Nibbana and then get the Nibbana. And in the future sermons, we will also explain about how to attain the Nibbana, the process, and see that we all enjoy the fruit of the Nibbana and let everybody be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And thank you everyone. So I am now disconnecting unless you have some questions.